Welcome my fabulous diamond painting fanatics. I'm DiDi and thanks for joining me for this drill with me. So get your kits out, get ready and start drilling because I've got a lot to tell you today. I'm still working on my fabulous fall fairy. Doesn't that sound cool? Fabulous fall fairy. Yes, I love her. I'm almost halfway done. This is the forehead with some locks of hair. This is the section of the ear that I'm currently working on, and the eye should be coming up here. And I have approximately, let me measure for a second. You can't see it, but I can. After I've done the entire row, I still have approximately 20 centimeters to do. A little bit more, I think. So yeah, it's still a lot of work, but so far I'm really liking the drills. I've got some colors that have issues, some with a lot of bubbles, no nubbly bits luckily, and yes, I like it. So in my last drill with me, I mentioned to you guys that I was contacted by the seller of this painting to thank me for my reviews on their products, and they wanted to thank me for that. And well, I thought it was just gonna be a thank you, but apparently they wanted to thank me by sending me one of their canvases to do a review on. I was a bit hesitant at first because I would like to be honest with you guys. If I don't like the product, I want to tell you guys that it's horrible and not feel bad about it to the person who's giving me the canvas. And so I told him that, yeah, if I did it, that I was gonna be completely honest, and if I didn't like it, I was gonna say so in my review. And his response was, I'm sure you're gonna like it, so please pick a canvas, maximum size 40 by 50, and you'll just have to pay 1 cent and we'll send it out to you. So I picked an awesome mermaid picture, and I've gotten 3 square paintings so far from this seller, which is the Sophie Beauty store. I saw they also sell rounds, and since I'm really liking those squares, I wanted to see what I think of their round drilled canvases. So I ordered a 50 by 40 round canvas, and it is on its way right now. So I did promise him that I would upload the video a bit sooner than the others I've got, since it is a present and they sent it to me for free. I'll upload it on a special day, so you'll get 2 or even 3 unboxings that week. And I've promised to myself that I would work on that one after I finished the clock, which I got from the clock one, which I got from the Thunder Deal store. So I'll be doing 2 large round paintings after I finish this one, which means I need to get driven to get this one finished. And I've been a little bit low on energy and low on time, because there's a lot of things happening at the moment. Like, I got a new job. I would like to thank all of you for your awesome support. It really helped me knowing that all across the world people were rooting for me, hoping that I would get a job that I really wanted. And yeah, it was a strange interview. like I said, I knew the person I had the interview with. We worked together for 2 years, and then we were equals, and now he's my boss. So that's a bit strange, but it seems to be working out. I can start the 1st of March, and since I've got more than enough vacation time left in my old job, which I need to either have it paid, all the hours paid, or use them. I already messaged my boss asking him if there were possibilities in the schedule for February to make me work a bit less, which is kind of fun since this month I'm working 30 hours extra to make up the difference, because they made a little mistake in the planning. So I was 40 hours short. Now I'm only 10 short. So yeah, I've been working almost an entire week extra this month, which means I've been working a lot, and it's been taking its toll. But yeah, I'm really excited about starting in the field that I actually want to be in. The job I have right now was great for the experience, but I don't want to work in the ICU for the rest of my life. That's not my cup of tea. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. They have an awesome introduction schedule in which you need to prove that you're capable of working shifts alone. And my boss was laughing. He was like, yeah, it's mandatory to do it, but I'm sure you will fly past, because I think you've done all of these things by now. I was like, yep, I've done it, but even if I don't learn anything, I'll just get to know new colleagues, people I need to work with there, so that's fine. And yeah, we will see. And I know I talked about what I was gonna wear for the interview, and I wasn't sure that I was either gonna wear my blue dress with the swallows. Sorry, the birds. Sorry, my brain is just not working because I got hit by the YouTube flu. I got the same thing as Mrs. Crochet got. So my brain is filled with mucus. It isn't working. At least I'm out of the fever part right now. I stayed home one day from work, and I felt so bad for my colleagues, for them having to fill in my shift. But I had such a headache that I looked cross-eyed every time I moved my head. Since I need to drive 75 kilometers to get to my job, and then I'll need to be up, running, going left, right, doing all sorts of things. Well, mostly I wasn't capable of just moving my head without closing my eyes, which isn't that safe in a car. But yeah, so that's what you're hearing. I've got a little light flu going on, and I'm sure I'll be safe and I'll be fine. Just need to wait it out. Luckily, I've got 2 days off. I need to start on Friday. Today is Wednesday, with another night shift, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. So what else? Yeah, I got the job, and I'm really excited. My bosses are happy for me. They're not happy that they're losing one of their assistants, because Normally you can leave me alone on the floor and I'll manage most things without any problems. But yeah, so they're gonna miss me and that's fine. But hey, you can't have it all. What else? Yeah, I've been working a lot, and I thought that was taking its toll on me. I've been a bit exhausted lately, but most likely the reason is medical. As you might know, I've been having some arrhythmias, that my heart rate goes up to the 150s without any reason, and so I went to see my GP. He did some blood work. I got the 24-hour EKG. Well, the 24-hour EKG was normal. It did catch me waking up because of the mailman with the package. It gave a spike in my heart rate, and he was like, how is that possible? And I was like, oh well, this happened, so I think that it's a normal reaction to me waking up afraid and scared, but oh well. And at first he wanted to start me on some preliminary medication when we first spoke, to ease my heart rhythm in a bit of a lower setting, so that chances of me going fast were slim. But the problem is my resting heart rate is so slow, and goes 45 beats per minute, and which makes it dangerous to put a brake on it even more, because then I'll be going too slow, and which would lead to me having fainting spells, losing consciousness, so that isn't good, so we're not doing that. But he did find something in my blood work. Everything was good. Most importantly, when you've got arrhythmias and fast heart rate, they want to know whether or not you've got issues with your thyroid gland. And since I'm in my 30s, and that's a normal age for women to get problems with their thyroid gland, I'm very happy that that's not the case. He was extremely proud of my cholesterol levels. They were extremely low. So my diet is working, and that's the diet my trainer put me on when I first started working out, because I needed to lose some weight back then, and now I'm just trying to keep it off, and it's been going fine. Well, it's been going great actually, because the dress I wore to my interview, I bought it years ago, because I wanted to have a nice dress for an interview, and the interview I bought it for, I messed up. I was so insecure about the dress that I was constantly worrying whether or not I looked good, and I put the dress on today, and I put it on last week, and the dress was a bit too large around my tummy, so it looked stunning. It was amazing seeing that dress on, because I'm not wearing that dress that often. It isn't something you would wear on a regular day. I think you would wear it if you worked in an office building, but since I usually wear scrubs, yeah, I'm not doing that. and a dress doesn't really go with scrubs. So yeah, dresses stay in the closet for quite a long time, which means they stay good. But yeah, I was surprised. I looked absolutely stunning, and it was very nice to see that all my hard work in the gym has been working out. So that was good. The only issue was that my vitamin D levels are dangerously low in the Netherlands due to lack of sunlight. In the winter, most people get some deficiency of vitamin D, and then they replenish it the moment the sun starts shining. And normal levels should be 100. Acceptable levels in winter in the Netherlands are between 50 and 80, and my level was 22. Yeah, so that would explain me being tired a lot lately. It doesn't explain the symptoms I'm having, but he put me on a crash course, high dose vitamin D subscription. I'm getting twice the amount of what people normally would get, older people would normally get, in case of kidney failure. They get 50 once a month, and I'm getting 25 a week for 3 months. So yeah, I'm getting an awful lot, which couldn't be done by just getting the over-the-counter vitamin D's. So yeah, I need to be more outside and in the sunlight, which is kind of hard this time of year. And if you might know, as you might know, I'm kind of pale. When the sun hits me, it reflects. You need to wear sunglasses seeing me sunbathe. So I'm not the type that goes out in the sun a lot, because I get sunburns in 5 seconds. So I'll need to be out in the sun for at least half an hour each day, the moment the weather clears up. Because speaking of the weather, we got snow yesterday. Yes, we finally got snow. It has been freezing cold. We use degrees Celsius. So if my temperatures don't make any sense to you guys, the temperature has hardly been above freezing point for the last couple of days, and yesterday they expected snow, and they expected some centimeters, just 2 or 3, something like that. And by the time I got in my car to go to work, I had 10 centimeters of snow. So yeah, it was a bit more. And I was very happy that I needed to start work at 4 in the afternoon, so 4 p.m. Because around 5 p.m. there was a traffic jam. Actually we made a record. We never had that many traffic jams in the Netherlands ever before. And its length, and I'm gonna ask you to use Google Maps for that. But just type in Amsterdam and then Lisbon in Portugal. So Lisbon in Portugal, which is over to 2200 kilometers. So in miles, that should be something, I think it's about 1500, I think. I'm not really sure. I know that 1 mile is 1.5 kilometers. But I'm not really using miles. We don't use miles. We use kilometers. So yeah, we had a traffic jam going from the northern part of Europe almost always south in a straight line. By plane, it takes you, and I've been to Lisbon, so I know this. From Amsterdam to Lisbon, it takes approximately 2.5 to 3 hours flight. So yeah, that's a long way, and I might have said it before, but we Dutchies do not really handle snow very well. The entire country goes in a shutdown. People are afraid to drive with snow. So yeah, it is interesting to see. I must say the government did an awesome job on keeping the highways clean of snow, because when I was driving it was still snowing, and I think I passed approximately 7 sets of snow plowers. Well, snow plowers is a big word. We use brushing machines, large brushing machines, and then we throw a lot of salt on the roads to keep everything wet, so the snow doesn't stick to the snow, it melts. So yeah, it was kind of insane driving through there, because sometimes it was very hard to see where you were going. But I do not mind. I've been driving through snow without a set of winter tires for all my life. And this one wasn't that bad. The roads were quite nice and easy to go on. So I had a 30-minute delay on my 1 hour drive, which due to the circumstances I'm okay with. And the most funny part was that the highways were fine, so I actually almost made normal time on the highways. But to get to my job, I need to go through a larger city. Oh man, and the roads there, they were just awful. So we had a lot of people spinning just going around the corners. And that's just, well, that's quite a large street I'm taking. It has a lot of traffic, and it was awful. And then leaving my own city, where all the larger streets were quite nice and clean, it was kind of strange seeing that even a larger city with a busier road had such, it was awful. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I had a pretty scary, well, scary big word. Last year I also had a day shift, and it started snowing during my shift, just a little in the place I was working. But I had my dad call me asking me if I was okay when I was leaving work, and I wasn't really aware of what was going on, because back then I worked almost all the way in the south of the Netherlands, and I needed to drive 130 kilometers to get home. So that should be something around 60 miles. 60, yeah, I think that's around 60 miles. And he was extremely worried, and my dad usually doesn't call me to just for something like this, so I knew something was up. And at first I was afraid something was up with my grandparents or my family, but it was him being worried that I wasn't gonna come home. So I turned on one of the sites which has the traffic information, and it showed over 1700 kilometers of traffic jams. It would have taken me, if I left right that minute, approximately 4 to 6 hours to get home. And I went to my boss, and he was like, well, you can sleep over at my place, but the day after I had a big presentation, so I wanted to go home, get my stuff, get my good clothes, because normally when I need to work I just wear jeans, simple jeans and a shirt, and then I put a vest over it when I'm done working. So not something you would wear to an important presentation. So I really need to go home, and all my colleagues were like, you're insane. And luckily for me, it was a busy day, so I stayed late, made sure everything was done at work, and I left around 7 that evening to go home. And by then most of the traffic jams had dissolved. But yeah, it was a drive that was interesting, it's the best way to put it, because there was hardly any snow where I was working, and the more I got through the northern parts, I first encountered some black ice, and driving on the highway, poorly lit, you would see those large mirrors appear, and you would just be driving on ice for a couple of 100 meters, and then it would stop, and then it would start again, and oh man. And then you just came in a lot of icy snow that has frozen over, and luckily there were a lot of tracks, so I just had to keep my wheels in the tracks, and I would go the proper direction. Changing lanes wasn't really an option. And my dad kept calling me whether or not I was okay during my drive, but well, back then I didn't have hands-free driving, and getting my hands off the steering wheel in that kind of weather, not a good idea. So I got home in 3 hours, which wasn't too bad, and I got home safe, passed a lot of accidents on the way home, but the highway was almost deserted, except for some trucks that couldn't go over the overpasses because they were too slippery, and there were parts where I was only driving 20 kilometers an hour just to get up there, and then you would kind of slide down from the overpass. So yeah, that was interesting. And the next day the highways were quite easily drivable. you could make some good speed, and I was on time for my presentation. And there were a lot of people who were complaining that it was too hard to get there. They wouldn't come because of the snow. And well, I thought they were a bit whining. It wasn't that bad that morning. So yeah, the presentation went well, but that time I really was a bit scared. My colleagues were as well, so they actually gave me some blankets. They gave me some food before I got in the car, to make sure that if I would strand on the highway, at least I would be warm. I would have something to eat, to have something to drink, and yeah. So lovely colleagues, but in the end it wasn't necessary, so I could take the blankets back to the hospital the next morning. So that was my awful, or well, challenging snow ride. After that, the rest just seems a bit less intense. But yeah, the Dutch system just crashes with snow. The moment they predict snow, the Dutch railway system sends out a message telling all of us that they're canceling some trains, that they're gonna take some precautions, and normally there still gonna be a lot of delays, but this time they actually did good, so kudos to them. They hardly had any delays, so that's a good part. The Dutch railway system shuts down due to leaves on the tracks, or due to cows on the tracks, or whatever. So it's a kind of a running joke that we always get something going on. Even though the weather is nice, they can find a reason to be delayed. But yeah, so this time they didn't, so that's awesome. What else? Oh well, I had this weekend I needed to work, and I've been taking care of this young girl who was molested and who wouldn't wake up, and I've been taking care of her for almost the entire week. And she woke up on Saturday, so that was, oh no, on Sunday. She woke up on Sunday, so that was extremely just a happy moment, because you've been sharing the fears of that family for quite a long time, and some cases they just hit you, they attach to you, and you can't really let them go. And this was one of those cases where you really hoped for a good result, and we finally got one, so I was very happy about that. But yeah, then I got the flu-like symptoms, better description. But I'm up and running again. And yeah, I worked yesterday evening, and yesterday I wore one of my charms I made as a necklace, and my colleague was like, "Oh my, that's so nice, did you make it?" Yes, I made it. And I showed her one of the one with the gold leaf foil I made, and she loved it, and she said, "Oh well, I still need a birthday present, so I'm gonna make her one for her birthday." And she's kind of upset. my body. And now I'm leaving, and she's like, why you can't leave? You can't leave me here alone. But she knows that it's the best thing for me to do. So she's been fishing what I want as a farewell present. We always give presents when someone leaves, to thank them for their time spent in the hospital with us. And I've been joking that I really wanted some nice socks from Sinterklaas, and I didn't get one, not even a pair. Oh, I didn't get socks. But she knows I like my strange and quirky socks. So she said, I already know what I'm gonna give you, what we are gonna give you. And I was like, oh, you do now? Yes, you're gonna get a whole nice set of socks. And I was like, okay, I just need to know your size. So she knows my size now, so I'll be getting socks as a farewell present. And I honestly think that's the best present you can give someone. I do not really care for all the most of the times you get those packages of shower gels and all that kind of stuff. But having people pick out corky socks for you, that's just funny, and it makes the socks, they go a long while, and they each time you put them on, I'll remember my colleagues and the time we spent together. So I actually like that a lot as a farewell present. So yeah, that's been going on. I've been having some issues with the Dutch postal system. They actually just called because I filed a complaint for not receiving packages that should have been here. They lost one of my packages from AliExpress. They actually admit that they lost it. They have every tracking information on it, and then they can't see it anymore. So yeah, the other package contains my UV epoxy resin, which should have been here a long time ago, and now it showed up. The Dutch postal systems, if you have the app, you could get your mail. You're gonna get a notification when they are sending mail to you, so you get a picture of your parcel that's coming with the regular mail. So just not the packages, the large packages, they come in a separate delivery system, but your regular mail, you can now see that you're getting some. So I actually knew which Christmas card I was getting before I even got to the mailbox, because I could see it by the handwriting. So that was nice. And it works like a charm, because you can now actually say, well, you should have delivered this 3 or 4 days ago and I didn't get it. And it makes them accountable for what they're doing, which is a good thing. So he was kind of upset that I filed a formal complaint, and I was like, well, actually the lady I spoke to on the phone, she made a formal complaint. I just wanted to know where my package was and bring it under your attention that your app isn't working correctly or that something is going wrong. I'm pretty sure that the package is gonna come sometimes this week, maybe even today, because I'm getting mail today. So we'll see. And what what's more is that I would like to thank each and every one of you who've commented on my English. It means a lot to me. You're also kind, telling me that my English is good, and it means so much to me since when I was in high school. We need to start studying English, and I had this very tiny woman who taught me English. She was from Great Britain, and I really disliked her. And she actually told my parents that I was never gonna graduate in the level that I needed to become a doctor, because my English was so bad, and she made me feel bad about myself. She didn't support all my extra work, so I was doing all kinds of extra work to get good grades to study English. Most of the time I would just, the only subject I did my homework in, homework was mandatory, but since my grades were top of the class in just about any subject, my teachers accepted that I didn't do my homework as long as my grades were good. Homework isn't graded, at least most of it isn't, so they were like, well, it's your studies, and if you're failing, it's your own fault, and I knew that. But since I wasn't doing any of my other homework, I had a lot of time to practice on my English, and I would actually translate my entire book. So all the Dutch parts of the book I would translate to English using a dictionary, and all the English parts, all the English text, I would translate back to Dutch, do all the assignments, worked extremely hard. I sat alone in front of the table, so I could focus better on the class, and I did that just because I needed to focus more. And well, actually she thought I was odd. She gave nasty comments about it, and yeah, she was just awful. And yeah, so I'm always a bit self-conscious when it comes to my English, because I worked very hard for it, and yes, I graduated with quite good grades for my English exams. But having low self-confidence and having a teacher who keeps telling you that you suck at English and that you're never gonna become a doctor because your English is too bad and or worse than needed for the subject, and well, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it doesn't really help getting your confidence up so you could speak in public or do your assignments right. And luckily, after 3 years, she only did the lower classes in high school. So after 3 years, I got another teacher, and he was actually surprised because he had gotten the reports from my previous teacher, and they were bad. They talked about my lack of what's the word that I'm searching for, the lack of commitment for the subject, and my lack of talent, and my awful spelling, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you've been doing all kinds of extra work just to get better at English, and your teacher gives your new teacher the report that you really do not care about the subject and that you're one of the worst students she's had. Yeah, that's just mean and it isn't right. But I got my new teacher and he was extremely kind. So after one of the first lessons, he came to me due to the report and he asked me how my English was going, and he wanted to tutor me. So I was like, okay, let's do that. Let's do a tutoring session. One of my friends wanted some extra help as well, so she joined. And he was extremely surprised that my previous teacher had said all those things, because in the tutoring sessions my English was good. I have issues writing English, but I also have issues writing Dutch, so that's dyslexia, not just my lack of talent, it's dyslexia. So he was extremely surprised with my knowledge of English and how I spoke English, how well I understood everything that was written. And he actually said, well, I don't need to tutor you because you're on a very acceptable level. And I think that if we work a bit on your spelling and on your grammar, everything's gonna be fine. So the tutoring sessions, I just got some little extra homework, and I still went to the tutoring sessions because of my friend, to help her, and in the meanwhile I learned some more. And by the time I graduated, I was reading books in English because it took too long for the translation to appear in the bookshop. So I was reading English texts, and I've been watching TV series without subtitles for, well, now most of my life. Since I was 15 or something like that, I haven't used subtitles at all, only in languages like German or Swedish or something like that, but for English I don't need the subtitles. So yeah, that woman was just awful, and hearing you say that my English is good, it means a lot to me, because I worked extremely hard to get good grades, get a proper English taught to me, and I wasn't being supported when I tried to improve my studies of the English language, and now hearing that I'm actually doing good, it means a lot to me. So I would like to thank you all for that. All the nice comments you've given me about my English. It helps with speaking in English to you guys when I'm filming these kinds of videos. And I've been filming a lot last week because I got 3 packages in the mail. So I had to film 3 unboxings. I filmed 1 post review, and I have two more large canvases coming in, and 2 special gems ones. So I've got a lot of filming to do in the upcoming weeks. And I was speaking of not having popping drills. Well, here we go. I shouldn't have jinxed it. Alright, so they're staying. That's good. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm really hoping that you like my videos. If you and that you like my drill with me is because most of the time I'm just rambling on and on about stuff. But it is kind of fun doing drill with me's, filming them. I think the work goes faster when I'm chatting to a friend. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know what your experiences are with snow. I know Dutch snow doesn't compare to the snow you guys get in the States or in other parts of the world. It isn't that bad, but I'm really interested about your stories. So let me know in the comment section. I will be seeing you in my next video. Bye bye.